Car Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and Matt Flynn.
Hands to Hester, and Hester, yep, got it, 5 out of 5.
From carrying each other to a natty to carrying each other on the air.
Flynn is back to throw from the end zone. Goal!
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio. It's Off the Bench.
All right, welcome back in. Hour number 3 of OTB, and it is Tuesday. It is 9 a.m., so you know what that means. We are going to catch up with our guy, Nick Underhill, New Orleans Football. Nicholas, how we doing, sir?
Gentlemen, how you doing? I'm doing good.
I guess I should have asked, is it Nicholas? Because my dad, he's just Joey, not Joseph. His dad was Tommy Joe, not Thomas Joseph. His brother was Sammy and not Samuel, so I guess I just assumed, but is it Nicholas?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
No, nothing weird there. Yeah, Nicholas works.
Yeah, you hear that, Dad? Nick Underhill called you weird. Oh, hey, I found out some information yesterday. I'm actually for SiriusXM going to be hosting the Saints training camp practice on July the 30th, and so you and I can have all the sweat there training camp in Metairie together.
All right, yeah. I'm looking forward to that, man. Yeah, it's like thank God Kelvin moved the practices up to like 9 and 9:30 in the morning because mini camp and OTAs were at like noon, and like that's just some like northern or western stuff. Like you get down here, it's way too hot for that time of day. But it's still going to be brutal, and we'll still be sweating, but just a little bit less. Yeah,
look, in SiriusXM, if you want to send me out to the Irvine practices as well, starting August the 6th, we can make that happen. So just putting that out there. But I mean, training camp is truly right around the corner. I mean, we are 2 weeks away, really less than 2 weeks away. Outside of the quarterback position battle, the first thing when you get out the notepad and you flip it open, what is the first note you want to take because you've been waiting to see it?
Well, I mean, the first one I want to take is definitely I want to see Trevor Penning at guard. We aren't going to see that the first couple of days because they aren't really padded practices, but that is kind of the headline thing to me. And then Kelvin Banks too. We haven't actually seen him block somebody, and I think that's kind of the future of the team. The investments all on the line. PFF did their offensive line rankings yesterday. They had the Saints 20th. I think that's maybe shortchanging them a little bit, but if they cash in on their potential, it should be a really good group. So that's at the top of the list. And then my second bullet point is just what's happening at corner, because I think that's imperative too, just in terms of the team building going forward. If Kool-Aid's good, if Alontae is, Alontae is a fascinating story right now because I think he has a scintillating skill set, but it hasn't quite materialized in the type of production consistently that you want. And I think that's a little bit beyond his control, just in that they've moved him around so much. But he's in a contract year, and if he doesn't get the Pete Werner week 3 of training camp deal, and he bets on himself this year, and he gets through that, he's someone that I could see having a great season and just cashing out and going somewhere else. And it's also one of those things where if you pay him, it's a little bit of a gamble right now too. So that's a huge story to me going into camp. Him and Rashid Shaheed, I think, are both kind of candidates to try to get paid now. And honestly, if I was the agent of either player, I'd tell him to go through the season. I don't think, Shaheed could get hurt, and I think he still gets paid whatever he's worth today right now. But if he goes through a season and he's healthy and he plays all 17 games, and he also just switched agents to Drew Rosenhaus, so we kind of know probably what he's thinking. You go through it and you have a good season, you're getting mega bucks. But I think those are kind of the real big things going into the training camp right now.
Yeah, and you said it, OTAs and minicamp are one thing. You get to see a little bit, you get to diagnose a little bit. There's some notes you can write down, but training camp, once you get the pads on and start hitting and getting physical, that's when you can really see how players are going to react, what players could potentially be, what the team could potentially be, and kind of to that. Especially when you get to see somebody else with some pads on. Do you know if the Saints have any plans or they've already scheduled some joint practices with any other teams?
Zero. They aren't doing any this year, which is a little bit of a surprise to me. I thought for sure they'd do some with the Chargers out there or somebody else. Like there's a ton of teams out there in California, and they did not set anything up. Which, I think that's kind of disappointing. It's usually the best work to me. Like you get to go through and say, hey, look, we're going to run 40 red zone plays and have that perfected by the end of Thursday's practice, and then on Friday we're going to work these situations. It's usually better work than the games. I always feel like it's more informative than those preseason games. I was a little bit surprised to see that one play out like that. I can't remember the last time the Saints went through a camp without joint practices. I don't know if that's a Kellen Moore ethos or if it's just like a matter of like, hey, like I need to, build my program and focus on what we're doing this year and then kind of look somewhere else. But I was surprised by that.
And we always get like the best like training camp fights in those too. So
oh yeah.
What is the best training camp fight you've ever seen? Like was there a memorable one that stuck out? Like these two monsters were just going at it.
Yeah, I mean, easily it was one guy, and it was because he was fighting every single day. The first year Trevor Penning was here, it was insane.
Let's go.
It was like day one of training camp. And he's just like he's throwing punches at people. It was wild, and it just kept happening like day after day after day. Like Sean Payton had to tell him to chill out. Like it was a lot. Like he was definitely the guy that comes to mind. Early on those. I like a lot of the receiver cornerback battles. Like those usually build up over time, where it's like a lot of talking and then like it pops off. But like Penning was like a 90s heavyweight fight, like just going after people. And, when the big guys go at it, like there's a little more to it. So,
was he good?
He's definitely,
was he good at it?
I mean, he can throw. Yeah. Like no doubt about it. Yeah, no, he's not somebody, he's not somebody you want coming at you. And, like, I don't think he's afraid to throw like a fist at a helmet if he needs to either, which isn't always smart, but like he's really about it, like some guys, like they get in those situations and like the arms are like, it's the windmill punches. Like Penning looked like he had scrapped before.
Hey, well, I mean, honestly, I'm going to turn this conversation into a football question. Like him moving to guard, having that mentality where he can be a little bit more reckless because you're protected on both sides. Like that to me, if he's ever going to be a successful, dependable NFL player, it is going to be at the guard position. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but I think what he does and his mentality, that just fits him better because now he can be more aggressive. Now he can maybe take more chances. Now he doesn't have to be perfect. Now it's not all about the technique and you're on an island by yourself. And so if we're going to get any kind of good version of Trevor Penning, it feels like it's going to be inside.
You just kind of swung me a little bit, like just with that transition. I didn't know where it was going, but like it just made a lot of sense to me. Like I'm the biggest Penning doubter. Like I got to see it, but I don't disagree with you. Like this is sink or swim. Like this is the last stop on the bus to Busville. Like he has to make this work because I don't think you're going back to the outside. Like if you have a chance to cash in on any potential, it has to happen here. And I do love the idea of him at guard in the run game. I think he can get out there. I think he can pull. Like this is a 330 pound, 350 pound behemoth that can like legitimately run, and that stands out. And I think pulling and doing stuff there like that's gonna play to it. It's the speed of which things happen that kind of worries me a little bit. But, on the flip side, I think I would rather try to have him dealing with that as opposed to being out on the island. And, if you do lose, like there's no bumpers, at least he's got some bumpers now. That isn't going to protect him every time. But, yeah, I mean, theoretically, like possibly. I've never liked it for him, Matt, you can probably speak to this better than me. Does it help having a taller quarterback in there with like a 6'7" guy at guard like Shuck being prototype? Like, does that maybe lend a possible fit better than the 6 foot tall Rattler or Jay Kaner back there?
I mean, I think the quarterback height disparity probably is overvalued a little bit little bit. I mean, Drew Brees, and there's been short quarterbacks that have shorter quarterbacks. I'm not going to say short, but shorter quarterbacks that have like dispelled any of those type of room. And it used to be everyone's got to be 6'5" so you can see over the line. But with blocking schemes like these days and splits and things like that, you can kind of overshadow those things, and quarterbacks work on that stuff. So yes, there is something to it. But even me at 6'2.5", or like a lot of quarterbacks.
Hey, you don't need to throw the half
like,
in there, guy.
All right, but it's
we're not in middle school anymore.
Give me. It's really a quarter, but like I bump it up to a half. All right. 228. Even at that, it's like you're still not seeing over 6'6" guys. So whether I'm 6'2" or 5'10", you're still not seeing over somebody that's 3, 4, 5 inches taller than you. So.
Yeah, I mean 6'2.5" is technically 6'3". Math
basically, you round up.
Yeah,
absolutely, you do.
6'2.5". I can't believe you threw that in there.
Well, why? Well, you're all of what, 5'10" and a
I was
half?
5'11" at the combine, and I tell people I'm 5'10" because I don't think I'm 5'11" anymore. I go down.
Were you 5'10 and a half?
I don't know. Maybe. I don't tell people 5'10 and a half. I say 5'10".
6'2.5", bud.
All right. Sorry. Go ahead, Nick.
No, I mean that makes sense. I mean, yeah, I didn't know because like him being 6'7", that's always been something that kind of But yeah, you're right. Like Drew always looked through those lanes and everything like that. So that makes sense.
On this team, like, is there anybody who on this team is, from a business side of things, is up for potentially big contract extension? Like, if you look through the roster, like, who are those guys? If there's one of them, if there's 5 of them, 6 of them, whatever it is, who are those guys you're looking at that the Saints need to lock him up, get him an extension, pay big bucks for?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like I think their free agents next year kind of bring them right up to like where the mentality is of the team building. Like the expiring contracts are like Taysom Hill, Demario Davis, Foster, Cam Jordan, Tyrann Mathieu, Alontae Taylor, Rashid Shaheed, and Penning are kind of the headliners. Colin Saunders, I think, is on there too. But like there's kind of like a split there, and it just kind of really depends on what direction they're going with the team. And if you really are leaning into the rebuild and trying to get younger and better and all this stuff, like, does it make sense to bring back Taysom and Demario and Cam and Tyrann? And, it's just kind of, I think there's probably a cost preposition on some of that stuff. Like, you're probably very willing to pay for the leadership of guys like Tyrann and Cam and Demario, but, like, the significant investment is a tough sell. And I don't think Tyrann or Cam would need it at this point in their career. They don't right now, but like a guy like Demario, if I'm Demario, like I'm probably trying to get out of here. I don't know. Like I could probably go get paid and actually help like a team that's trying to win a Super Bowl. I feel like he's still at that point in his career. And if you're the Saints, like, are you paying someone to stick around? Like, I think you kind of got to see what happens this year, but I lean more into the, like, why are you paying guys that aren't going to be part of this, 2-3 years from now, like significant money? 1-year deals to Cam and Tyrann, kind of the way they did it, would still make some sense to me, at a very low cost. But the guys I'm trying to pay are Alontae and Shaheed, and I probably got Shaheed at the top of that list. Like, I feel way more comfortable paying him than anyone else. And if you're going at it with like a younger quarterback, I'm willing to make that bet right now on him to kind of, save a little bit. I do think there's some risk there. I don't think he's the most polished route runner yet. That's something that's kind of been an ongoing process. And, the injuries last year, I think, set him back. He was kind of showing good improvement under Keith Williams and he got hurt. Maybe, if that keeps developing and he keeps being this, like, big play guy, like, I think he could, like, really, really break the market if he hits it and stays healthy. But those are the guys. Like, it's a fascinating time right now. And, the team building philosophy, I think, is kind of just at odds with the mentality of the franchise, too. Like, they're very, very loyal to their guys. And, like, they're the type of team that wants to keep, like, a Demario around forever. But, like, there are legitimate questions. And it's not, like, I think he's a great player. I think Demario's probably a guy that should be, like, scratching the Hall of Fame with his resume. Like, I just don't know if he got, like, the All-Pros and Pro Bowls to kind of put it together, but he should have. Like, I think he's that type of talent. I think he's still a really, really good player, but, like, doesn't make sense going forward. It's a fascinating time right now.
All right, Nick, we're going to finish this off. We'll give you a little rapid fire. See where Nick Underhill,
New Orleans.football,
see where his mindset is going into the season on some specific people and their targets and their stats for the season. So you ready for a little rapid fire?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Alvin Kamara, rushing yards, over under 950 yards.
I'm taking the under on that for sure.
For sure?
Don't love that.
He's never hit 1,000.
I know.
I think there's better depth at that position, and I don't want to see him getting 220 carries.
Okay, very good. So let's go to his total yard, all-purpose yards at 1,500.
Oh, that's tough. That's a good line, man. I'm gonna take a slight under, just a barely under it. If you had said it at like 1450, you would have talked me into the over. So
I think
that's
he was
a good
like
line.
14, like 47 last year. Yeah. So being that we finally have like an offensive-minded coach, I kind of bumped up everybody's kind of averages a little bit just to give you a little heads up there. I think he was close to the 900 rushing last year, I think. So, anyways, all right, let's move on. Rashid Shaheed, over under 900 yards receiving.
I'm going to take the under. I mean, like the total passing yards, I think is probably, what was Caleb at last year? Caleb Williams, like 3,400 or something like that, 36. Like, I think you're under 4,000. So, like, I'm going to probably like cut off your next one, but like I'm probably going to take the under on both like Rashid and Olave, just because I don't know that the volume is going to be there.
Yeah, it's interesting because we were looking at the stats. With both of them had injuries last year, but they had big numbers in the games that they did play. Like Olave had 700 and something playing in less than half, 8 games, something like that. So yeah, I guess that'll bring me to the next one. I put Chris Olave based on the numbers he was showing. I even kind of like went down on his average per game at 1,200 yards over under.
I think he's going to have like a season that looks like a 1,200-yard season on film. Like you're going to be blown away by some of the stuff he does. But like I don't know that anyone's getting that high. Like Shuck would have to be Shuck or Rattler, but no QB controversy here. Like one of them's going to have to be really, really good to get to that point.
Okay, let's go with Mr. Brandon Cooks. Based on your answers, I'm going down a little bit. Receiving yards over under 350 yards.
I'll take the over. Yeah, I'll take the over. If he's healthy, I think he gets it. What was that?
We're going to see some bow and arrows this year?
I think a few. And look, I like the way he's carrying himself this offseason. He just set up a throwing session at Nike headquarters, and Beaverton got like the whole team out there. I think he's building comfort. He worked out with Rattler wasn't there because he was doing his youth camp in South Carolina, but he made a trip down to Arizona to work with him. Like I think he's really doing a lot to like ingratiate himself, and I think like the chemistry with the quarterbacks. I'll take the over on 350.
Okay, last 3 here. Rapid fire. Remember, rapid fire. Total TD passes over under 33.
I'll go under.
Total sacks. Defensive. This is our only defensive one here. Defense stinks. Total sacks over under 39.
Oh man, I don't like the D line. I'm going under.
Okay, that's very average of the pack.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's very average. Total wins. Here we go. Over under 5.5.
Yeah, I've been saying 5, so I'm under that. Man, you got me like I'm Mr. Pet.
Nick, you hate the Saints.
Man. All right.
Me and Hester is trying so hard to be fans. You're really making it tough, Nick.
I think it's going to be a fun 5, though. Like,
there you go. A little fun 5. I like that.
He went under on everybody.
Fun 5. Over on Brandon Cooks, 350.
Brandon Cook, bow and arrow.
Let's go.
Yeah, maybe a little. Maybe I'll come back with a better attitude next week.
Big Brandon Cooks guy.
Well, also Nick, he knows the Saints as well as anybody. I'll leave that there. Nick Underhill, NewOrleans.football is the website. If you want to try to know the Saints as well as Nick and the team do over at NewOrleans.football, sign up for the site today. Nick, we appreciate it as always, and I look forward to seeing you down in training camp here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, take it easy, guys.
Whew.
I feel great about it.
Yeah. No good.
Good.
More for me and you, right?
Great. Yeah. No, everything's fine, guys. Everything's Saints fans. It's fine.
It is crazy that Alvin Kamara doesn't have a 1,000-yard season.
It is wild, but he's had
he's had some crazy 850 rushing, 750 receiving.
Yeah, I think he had 60 1 year receiving, but he's always averaging around 13 to 15 all-purpose yards.
Outside of last year, he's always kind of had a split backfield. Like it was Ingram, it was Latavius Murray. Like last year was kind of the only year where he was like the every down guy.
Right. Here, I got it looked up here. Let's see.
I'm trying to look at some guys that like I played with. I'm trying to think if they had 1,000 yards.
In 2017, he had 826 yards receiving.
Okay.
So let's see, 17. I'm sorry. 17, he had 1,554 all-purpose, 18, 50, 92, 19, 13, 30, 20, 16, 88, 20, 21, 13, 37. Last year, he had 1,493 all-purpose yards.
Yeah. I mean, he's been a hell of a player. So, when I say that, it's surprising because he has been.
So last year,
so good.
950 rushing yards.
Yeah.
And I set the over/under at 950.
950.
And he went under. Which is surprising.
And
because
he did say because he thinks he has a better complement of backs with him.
Sure. And yeah, I get that too. But this is the first time in a while that we've had an offensive-minded coach like this, like we've had.
Yeah.
So since the Sean Payton era, this is the first time like a coach that is focused on offense. They're bringing that. So it is exciting. I would expect all the numbers from these people to go up, even with young quarterback battles. I think they will get put in the right position. I think you'll have some individual stats that are going to pop off a little bit and be better than what people think.
All right, we'll take a break. Look, it's okay. Nick, rapid fire and Nick Underhill, sometimes that doesn't work out, but great answers as always from Nick. More OTB when we come back here, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Off the bench.
All right, go to gotommies.com, G-E-A-U-X, Tommies with a Y.com. When you go to the website, you'll clearly see the difference. You'll see what sets Tommy and the team apart. They are award-winning. They continue to stack banners. They won Best Windows in 2025 in the Advocate. That's who they are. They have over 30 years of experience in the windows, doors, and siding game. So go to the website, check out what they can do for you, a full list of services, testimonials of past clients, a gallery of work. But always remember, if you don't see it in the gallery, know that they can customize your project to what you're looking for as well. Go Tommies.com.
Tommy's Windows, Doors, and Siding, a company that actually literally works with integrity. They're dependable, they're professional, and most importantly, when you're on a job and you have something going on in your house, they're efficient. They're going to get the job and they're going to get it done. Full lifetime warranty on your windows as well. Go visit them today. GoTommys.com.
Mark.
I'm bringing sexy back. Yeah. The mother boys don't know how to act. Yeah. I think it's special what's behind your back. Yeah.
Tigers turn talkers. This is Off the Bench.
Dirty babe, you see these shackles, baby, I'm your slave. I'll let you whip me if I misbehave. It's just that no one makes me feel this way. Take it to the chorus. Come here, girl. Go ahead, be gone with it. Come to the back. Go ahead, be gone with it. VIP. Go ahead, be
How'd your break go over there?
Go ahead, be gone with it.
Good. Sunday King, Caleb Williams. Not too bad. Thanks for the break. And some.
How do you think Caleb's going to do this year?
Don't care. Because I'm going to get rid of all his cards before. Strike while the iron's hot. Like, if I was going to hold on to one of the quarterbacks from last year, I would go, can you turn the tour down?
Sorry, guys.
My
They were racing for King of the Mountain points.
God. Certainly Jaden.
There's one quarterback I'm definitely hanging on to right now.
Jaden or Spencer Rattler?
Well, I'm hanging on to Spencer. Well, Jaden, yeah, no, but Jaden, he's hot.
Joe Milton?
So for him to get hotter, he's got to have like a Patrick Mahomes type arc.
Because right now in the card game, and correct me if I'm wrong, you know it as well as I do, even better. It is kind of like Caleb still holds a lot of weight, but it is Jaden right underneath that Caleb, and then you have right underneath that Bo Nix.
Yeah, Bo Nix.
That's the one. If I was you, I don't know as much about cards, but That dude's got weapons this year. Didn't have any last year.
Well, so my thing is, I think Caleb's going to have a pretty good year.
Yeah.
Is he going to throw for
Is
4,000?
that who you're holding on to?
No, I'm not. I don't have as many of him. I'm holding on to Penix
Okay.
because he's like of the 6 rookie quarterbacks from last year, kind of at the more bottom of that.
Oh, I think he is at the
But,
bottom.
I thought
even more than J.J. McCarthy, who
I,
didn't play.
I even asked you before that draft, the 2024 draft. I said, "Who's your favorite quarterback outside of JD?" And you said Penix.
Yeah.
So I've always really been a fan of Penix, and I think just him getting the reins, getting the full confidence of a staff, and he's got a pretty good team around him. I think he's going to be pretty good. I know that's not great for Saints fans, but I would expect him to be really good.
He is good.
But you look at Caleb Williams, like a guy that they drafted another receiver, they brought in it. Like they have so much talent. Like the Bears are set up better than they have been for a long time. And like Caleb Williams didn't just like get less talented over the last year. He had flashes, and certainly it's like, but I think Bears fans and NFL fans are kind of looking at this as like year one for him now. Like, that was a train wreck,
right?
With their last head coach.
It was.
Like you want to talk about like just like a that has no shot at commanding a room.
Yeah,
that guy. But now they bring in an offensive specialist who's done like. He turned Jared Goff's career completely around into MVP candidate status.
Yeah. And they had some fun on offense.
Turned the Lions. I mean, helped turn the Lions around, of course, with Dan Campbell.
I mean,
but
let's don't forget about the ultimate grit guy.
I'm just gonna say, like from an offensive standpoint, but getting creative, being like we talked about earlier in the show, a combination of shotgun and creativity under the center, and it helps so much spread the ball around. I would expect Caleb Williams to have a pretty breakout second year. That would be my prediction.
Right.
So yeah, I would maybe hold, but like you still got a lot of hype. So like in the card game, you can sell the hype.
Yeah.
Or you can wait and really cash out if it like turns out. But I think most people want to probably sell the hype. Like right now, I'm holding on to Penix because I think Penix comes out and he has a good stretch of the season where he's looking really good. And then at that point,
then you push. Yeah. Then you push.
Like, and that's why I do Spencer. I think Spencer has a good shot at least being the starter at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
I think Saints fans should hope that Spencer Rattler is the starter the entire season, because at that point you either know, all right, I got a franchise guy, or I got a guy that started the entire season, is really good. Now we have good trade value potentially with him if you do think Shuck is your next guy. And I always want a rookie quarterback. Maybe not always. There's some exceptions to the rule. Jaden Daniels, of course, the most recent exception to that rule. Bo Nix, an exception.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's better for a quarterback to sit. Of course, it'd be better if he was like sitting behind a tenured vet.
Drake May sat up for a little bit last year. Penix sat for a little bit last year.
Absolutely. J.J. McCarthy, another one that I would expect. Like he's got a lot of pieces around him that are really good. He's set up for success. So these guys that you had 6 quarterbacks go in the first round last year, and that means like a lot of them went to pretty good teams.
Yeah.
So you got a guy, J.J. McCarthy, with the Vikings. Of course, they're great. They're a threat in the North. Falcons have good talent around them at least. Right. The Broncos showed some signs. They got pieces in place this year. So, I mean, I would expect that this is going to go down as probably one of the better quarterback draft classes. And I'll talk about last year, not this year. So
it is why. So, like, kind of going back to the card game, it's like those 6 quarterbacks, they didn't change. Like, cards had come back, but they like kind of changed a lot in the football card game.
Right.
Because people are always chasing those 6 teams. It's like, I want one of those 6 teams. I want one. And sure, like, you'll be okay. Like, if you get the Giants or the Jags, like, you get Malik. Or if you get the Cardinals, you get Marvin Harrison. Jags, you get BTJ.
You get
Chargers with Lab McConkey. Like, it's like, oh, okay, like, cool.
Yeah, pretty good.
But you're chasing those 6 quarterbacks.
Yep.
And, like, in the card game, like, now, like, they hadn't even gotten the cards out, really. They're just now starting to, like, slowly
You can still buy the card packs now that have Jaden Daniels as a rookie. So, like, that's the thing. Do you hold Jaden Daniels cards as, like, if you're in it for the business side of things, because his value is so sky high right now. So, like, he has to take the next, like, big step for it to go even higher. That's why, like, you see Patrick Mahomes are still valuable, even if they're not rookies, right?
Matt, does Caleb throw for 4,000 yards? Bears have never had one.
He'll be the first one.
I think Caleb Williams will throw for 4,000 yards. I'm not saying this season, but he will.
He'll throw for this season.
He'll be the first one. I think he's going to surprise people. I don't know if I don't even know if it's going to be a surprise. I think he's going to make believers out of a lot of doubters because I think he's still talented. I think Jaden Daniels, of course, is going to have the better career and is the better quarterback and will be the better quarterback of those two if we're trying to make comparisons. But Caleb Williams got drafted 1 for a reason because he's talented. I don't think he is a bad dude or a bad teammate. I think he was in a position that organizationally lacked a lot of leadership, and that happens with a lot of different organizations. So hopefully they got a guy, and all signs point to yes, that they do have a guy that can command the room and run a team and put the pieces in place to be successful, to take advantage of the weapons that they do have.
You know why I think, and I know we got to take a break, but you know why I think Jaden was way more successful, in my opinion, than Caleb? Jaden is so comfortable in chaos.
Right.
I think that's like, obviously he's got traits that are like superhuman with his speed and running ability and deep throw, all that, sure. But his ability to be in a chaotic situation and look cool, calm, and collected, where Caleb's like, oh, I got to get out of here. Oh, I got to go make the crazy, running to my right, throw back across my body to the left. I'm panicking a little bit. Jaden doesn't have that. Yep. And that's why he was so successful so early, is because he allowed himself to play through the offense and not try to do too much just based off his ability.
Mm-hmm. And Jaden processes information so fast, and a lot of that has to do with his training and that virtual reality that's become like popularized, and they've done stories about it now with Jaden. But that is something as a quarterback that you can learn with experience. I know he played a lot in college. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about Caleb Williams, but when things turn chaotic, that is something that you can improve as a quarterback. We talked about running backs earlier. It's kind of hard to teach a running back how to read a block and instinctually read stuff. As a quarterback, the game can slow down for you if you're comfortable within the system and you got good pieces around you, which I think they do.
All right, when we come back, LSU did make a hire in the recruiting department. We'll talk about it, tell you who it is, and he's got an LSU tie, as I just found out. We'll tell you what that is as well when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench.
All right, go to centralplumbing.org. Centralplumbing.org is the website for, you guessed it, Central Plumbing. And not only in Central, we tell you that every single day, right? Certainly they can help you in Central, but we're talking about the entire greater Baton Rouge area. If you have an issue, 24/7, 365, weekend, holiday, game day, does not matter, 225-925-8552, and they will be there to help you fix said problem. Now, if you're looking to upgrade, they can also do that. Home, business, big, small, somewhere in between, does not matter. Go to the website today, see what they can do for you, centralplumbing.org.
Just picture it. End of the day, got 4, 5, 6 people in your family. They got to take showers. Dinner's over. You got to wash the dishes. You got to clean clothes. What's the last thing that can happen? Is you run out of hot water. Get a tankless water here. Central Plumbing can do that. For turnkey, they can install it. They can maintenance everything. Centralplumbing.org.
From players to legends, Hester and Flynn break down LSU football like only champions can.
All right, welcome back in, OTB 104.5, ESPN Baton Rouge. I'll throw it now to our guy, Tay for a little LSU football news.
Yeah, so yesterday it was announced that, this was last night, LSU is hiring Ole Miss coordinator of recruiting strategy. I would just call it recruiting strategy coordinator, but that is neither here nor there. He's going to be LSU football's assistant general manager under Austin Thomas. A lot of ties to the program. Austin Thomas actually got him hired when he was at Ole Miss. Now he's back under Austin Thomas. He's been there since 2022. He's a Mississippi native. He's got big ties to Oxford. So this is a big-time get for LSU.
One thing they've been doing at Ole Miss that they haven't done in the past is hitting and recruiting in high school and the portal. Certainly the portal, but they're not going to be a top 5 recruiting class. It's just not going to happen. But remember, we used to do the show, Flynn, and we'd be talking at night about they're 35th, 38th in recruiting. Now they're starting to creep their way up. And this is somebody that has incredibly strong Mississippi ties, and you're able to get him from Ole Miss to LSU. Our guy Dick Dixon, a.k.a. Richard Dixon, he says he actually knows him. They're from Ocean Springs and played high school ball together. How about that? And if he's good enough for Dick Dixon, by God, he's good enough for us.
And he should be good enough for you. I like how in this world of the NIL, the new like colleges getting general manager, like the light speed quickness that we have moved through this, and colleges having to just create titles for people. What was that title again? Coordinator of
recruiting strategy.
Yep, that's
big
a thing.
one.
I'm waiting for the title knower of ball.
Mm-hmm. That's us. That's going to be Alondra.
That's going to be me.
It is
you.
going to be Alondra.
It's gonna be me.
I did,
so excited.
Although I did line up one of the receivers who I was thinking I was putting off the ball.
Yeah.
Instead of putting him behind the ball, I put him ahead of the ball because I'm, just.
Oh, well, hold on a second.
Dyslexic just
on 11
in.
personnel.
Yeah.
Speaking of knowers of ball,
guy,
we did.
No, the guy
Back
right
here.
there. Yeah.
He's not supposed to be
well,
there.
I mean, he's not supposed to be that far up. No.
So
But it doesn't matter.
It doesn't
that doesn't
matter.
change the personnel or the formation.
Let me guess. There's 11 people on the field. when we do this.
There's 11
our
people.
goal-
That has nothing to do with 11 personnel.
Okay.
The numbers are talking about how many tight ends and running backs are in the game.
Okay.
So our goal here at OTB this football season in the lead up
Turn
is
me
to
into a ball
educate,
knower.
like to turn all our listeners and more educated ball knowers. I think one thing is I think LSU fans in general have a really good sense and knowledge of football in general, of the good, bad, the ugly. But we're going to take the next deep dive. So we talked about, and this is real basic stuff. We talked about how people verbalize personnels on offense. And so you hear it a lot. You hear, 31, 12, 21 personnel, whatever it is. So we just started out with, what did we talk, 11 and 12 personnel. So basically you have, besides the lineman and the quarterback, you have 5 skill positions between wide receivers, tight ends, and running backs. So that tells you the first number, okay, the first number is how many running back types. So running backs or fullbacks would be the first number. And then the second number would be tight ends. How many tight ends are in the game? And then there's not a third number. It's just the remainder of the 5 total people that are receivers. So 11 personnel, it tells you how many running backs and how many tight ends.
Yeah.
So how many tight ends, how many running backs and tight ends are there in 11 personnel?
One
running back.
One
and
running back and
So
one tight end.
how many receivers would that be?
If you have
3.
There you go.
3.
Yeah.
Exactly. What about 12 personnel? How many running
So
backs?
it'd be 2 running backs and 2 tight ends.
Okay, so you got
That
a
would
little
be
backwards.
22
That'd be-
personnel.
yeah, so it'd be
One.
So 12.
Okay, I thought I was going
12
off of,
personnel.
okay.
The first one's running back.
So 1 running back,
One
2
running back,
or 2
Two
tight
tight
ends,
ends, and how many receivers?
2 receivers.
Okay, so let's switch it. 21 personnel.
It'd be 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 2 receivers.
Very, very good. Let's go.
Ball knower.
Ball knower. How about this?
Let's go.
What about 10 personnel?
1 running back, no tight ends,
Yep.
How many receivers?
4 receivers.
There we
There
go.
it is. There it is.
You know more than
We got it.
a lot of people.
Let's go. Ball knower.
Hell yeah.
Well done.
So you can
So you can do any number personnel.
any number to 5. You can do 0-5 personnel.
Okay.
5 tight ends.
There was
But 11 and 12 are the most common.
11, 12, 12. But back in the day,
back in
it was
the day,
21.
21.
Okay.
Yeah, back when I had a job.
I would say 11.
Yeah, for
11's
sure.
big, and 11, 10 is huge. I mean, 4 wide is a big thing.
There's a lot of
zero
10
personnel.
a lot of
So 0
10
personnel would be 5 wide, right?
A lot of 10 personnel is
You just
like,
throw
can be 11
like
too
hella
because of the
receivers
Fs,
out there.
the
Yeah,
way they
empty,
play Fs now.
empty
Right.
is 0. Yes.
So you just throw hella receivers out there.
Oh, 5
Yeah.
wide.
5.
5 wide.
Yeah.
5 wide, 5 lineman, QB.
Like a pony personnel, a 20 personnel.
And
So you
so,
get 2 backs, no tight ends, 3
and so
receivers.
you got spotters on the other team that are watching
okay.
personnels run back and forth, and they're changing their defensive personnel, right? And so we talked about it the other day.
Yeah.
Base defense
Yeah.
is 4 defensive backs.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Nickel would be 5.
Okay.
Dime would be 6 DBs.
Okay.
And quarter personnel is 7 DBs.
7.
So but pretty much 4 defensive linemen, 7 DBs.
Yeah.
That's if a
Okay.
team is like, you don't see it a lot, but that's a team that's running
It's
5 wide
prevent.
a lot.
You could do it in prevent.
Prevent,
Yeah.
Oh,
So you got spotters. So they watch the offense run back and forth. They know who's in the game. They know it's 11 personnel. And then they see a tight end run in the game.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, it's 12 personnel. We
They'll
need
hold
to
up
change
the
ours.
12
They'll hold
cards.
up the
Yeah,
12
yeah,
cards,
yeah.
and they'll run up. They'll be like base defense, and they'll run a linebacker out there for the
Okay.
nickel.
So this feels obvious, but on here, I'm going to guess this. You wrote OOCOOTE. lineman, center,
Yeah.
lineman,
Yeah.
tackle, edge, or no?
Tight end.
Tight end.
Yeah.
Oh, the tight end's right here.
Yeah,
Oh, so
tight
it's
end's
like
on the ball.
lineman, center, lineman, and the tight end on the ball.
Yeah. It
So
doesn't
he-
always have to be, but I just
gotta be
for
someone
That's
visual.
just how you did it. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't even like worry about like 7
So
people.
this one
being
has
on
There,
the
there
line
has to be
of
7 on
scrimmage.
the line of scrimmage. Usually
Yeah, that's
it's
why I
on-
said I messed up and put the guy too far up. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has to be 7 people on the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
Even when you're playing Arkansas in 2007 and you hit a 65-yard rail,
even them.
especially then.
Details matter, fellas.
Yeah,
Yeesh.
they do. They definitely do.
Anyway, there you go. Ball nowhere.
But different people have different ways to draw the center. Some
Yeah.
people put it a square, and then the other linemen are circles. I've seen people put a Q, which doesn't make sense to me,
Nah.
but people do it. I put a C.
I
Some
do
people-
a
some people-
square with a squiggly.
Some people put an X. I put a C or a square, typically.
So
What, for the center?
it's a C.
Yeah.
I think
I've
it-
seen it's always square, circle.
Yeah.
it's like a
that's how we did it.
square with a little squiggly. And the squiggly's supposed to be like if you draw it up, it's a square with a little circle in the middle, which is the football. So but it's just like you draw a square and you just quickly like squiggle, the little squiggly guy. But yeah, if the tight end is on the ball to one side, you got one receiver to that side. The
Yeah.
receiver has
He's
to be
off.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If the receiver gets on line of scrimmage, the tight end's got to
There's
back
too
up.
many on
Yeah.
their
Mhm.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 on the
And
line.
then
of
on the
scrimmage.
other side, you'll have a receiver on the ball.
Yeah.
So that makes your 7. Yeah.
You can have more than 7, but anybody past that 7th person cannot go out for a route.
pass.
So if the tight end's on the line of scrimmage and the
Yeah.
Z receiver to that side is on the line of scrimmage, only one of them can go out for a pass.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Little football 101 here.
Look
Just
at me.
wait. Just wait till Gulf Coast gives us that interactive whiteboard. We
Bruh.
are
I mean,
going
we might be
to
I'm
feel
about
like
to be able to
vibe.
read playbooks.
Oh, for sure.
You're going to be like
No
Tony
doubt.
Romo here pretty soon.
I don't know, Flynn. I don't know.
I don't know.
Oh, see, he's saying lucky. I think it's going left. I don't know.
I want to remind you guys to drink My High.
My high.
Hydrate.
Drink my high.
I don't know if you want to give your kids something that doesn't have like artificial flavors,
Yeah,
colors,
nobody likes
sweeteners, no artificial dyes. Like you can put it in their water bottle and they can take it to like school where they're only allowed to drink water. Little pro tip there.
Or you can like keep them on your person like
Yeah.
I do at all times.
It's
Look,
a-
I've got My High Zero and just regular My High because you know what? Depending on the vibes, depending on what kind of mood I'm in, I might change it up.
I'm partial to the 0.
It's a drink mix that's actually liquid instead of just throwing it in the name. Saying that.
Yeah.
True.
The liquid,
Big
honestly,
True.
makes
Big
it so
true.
much better
That
than
is
the
a
powder.
powder IV.
I didn't even think about that. Wow.
But yeah, I
hate
do
you,
like
Liquid
the,
IV.
the
We hate you,
liquid.
bruh.
Yeah. The liquid
Me
mix
and
is
all my
much
homies
better.
hate you.
Yeah. We all hate liquid IV.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah.
Let's drink My
We don't even
High.
act like
Now,
we like
Element. No, I'm just kidding.
Drinkmyhigh.com.
I know that.
You can sign up for monthly subscriptions. Click it once. It just shows up. Boom. You get a little
Boom.
discount too.
I love my
They
high.
didn't give me a discount yet. All right.
Yeah, they didn't give me one.
Last break of the show. Answering your
free.
questions when we come back here on OTB.
Off the bench.
I mean, you could make it free. BoudreauxElectrical.com is the website. More power, more protection with Boudreaux's with that whole home generator on the North Shore, 985-397-1562. In the greater Baton Rouge area, it is 225-300-9389. Go ahead, get that number, give them a call, tell them what you're looking for. It is not too late. You can have that whole home generator in your house ready to go before storm season hits. We've already had some bad weather here in South Louisiana. Call Boudreaux's today.
How much is to get a quote for a Generac? How much is that?
It is free ski.
Oh, so $0 just to get a
Zero.
quote on a Generac. What's heating up? Something's heating up down there. The big
yeah,
body of water.
maybe the Gulf of America.
Gulf of America is heating up. We know it's coming. We live in Louisiana. Be prepared for it. Be the envy of the neighborhood when everybody else's lights go out. Yours is still on. Cranked up. BoudreauxElectrical.com.
Yeah.
From players to legends, Hester and Flynn break down LSU football like only champions can.
Hi, my name is Bob and I work at my job. I make $40-something a day. I used to be the man in my hometown until I started to lose my way. It all goes back to when I dropped out of school, having fun, I was living the life. But now I got a problem with that little white rock, see I can't put.
Welcome back in, OTB. One final segment here. You already know, by the way, go to EliteTrainingAcademyBR.com. Sign up for flag football today. My team will be out there. If you want an individual or a team, sign up, EliteTrainingAcademyBR.com. It is flag football time. So don't wait, register, and play football on an actual football field. Are you going to spend the rest of the day watching that?
Well, we're getting towards the end. We got 25.8 kilometers left. The Peloton, they've caught up. They did what they do with the GC contenders. They're 18 seconds behind, only 1 leader now. So this is going to turn out. We got a big hill to climb towards the end. So this is going to become a GC battle here today. It's going to be some podium movement.
Yeah.
All right, y'all have fun with that.
Pogačar is in second right now in the GC. Vingegaard is in third. So those are the 2 guys,
Yeah.
Pogačar and Vingegaard. Pogačar's got 3 of the last 5 victories. Vingegaard's got 2 of the last 5 victories. So it's
Legends.
a battle of the best.
All right,
Jake's
can't wait
locked
for
in
that.
over
Can't
there.
wait for that.
let's talk about
One
soccer.
question. The most popular sport in the world. Ask the bench.
kit?
Barstool put out their NFL quarterback tier list at dead last in the category of their own. They had whoever starts for the Saints.
I wouldn't. I'd put whoever starts for the Colts, but the Saints are unproven. I mean, I get it.
I think that's fair. You don't know.
A lot of good. The
Whoever starts
NFL
for the Browns.
has, top to bottom, has got some really good quarterback playing in the NFL. So I have to look.
It's all right. Hey,
No idea.
in Rat we trust. See you tomorrow.
Off the bench.
Or Tyler Shuck.
You think he likes
I was
that?
about to say,
You think
we-
he likes to
don't
be
give
called
it-
rat?
We on the rat train?
I mean,
Is that what people call him? I don't think so.
They do now.
Rat dat.
I like
Rat
Rat Dat. You don't like that?
Rat daddy.
All right. YourGoodwood.com. Rat Daddy makes no sense. YourGoodwood.com is the website. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. If you have an issue, if you have a problem, why not go ahead and go get it fixed? They have the solutions. They have the answers over at the clinic. So go see them today. You can book that consultation right there on the homepage, bottom right corner. Live life without fear or embarrassment. YourGoodwood.com.
Hey, we're all human. We all have issues. We all have things that might not work as good as they used to. But there's fixes for that. Go check them out today. It's YourGoodwood.com. Men, go check it out. Whether it's your hair's thinning out a little bit, whether it's little something dysfunction, little low T, whatever it is, go check it out. Get a consultation. See how they can help. YourGoodwood.com.